All right, moving on over to Wednesday night for NXT. So NXT, it was their last episode for 2020, and like tradition, the last episode of the year is their end of the year award show, which is very cool. I mean, you're not a fan of it, Richard?
No, I don't give a crap about that.
Is it any of the?
It's just filler to fill up the show.
It
that's
really
what
did.
It is.
It really did. Like I
skipped all of them.
Oh, really?
All of them.
Well, let's see. So, I mean, just a couple takeaways here. I mean, they have the full list online if you didn't watch the show. But breakout star of the year was Shotzi Blackheart, which is okay. I was kind of, okay, cool. I mean, I was kind of, I forgot who some of the other nominees were, but I was like, okay, cool.
Damian Priest and Thatcher.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping maybe Damian Priest because he won.
Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, Dragunov. But
Shotzi made the most sense because she was the most visible.
Yeah, and she, was the captain of her War Games team, even though I think she contributed the least in that match.
Part of my reasoning for not liking these types of things is it's always a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Like it's not a legitimate, there's no stats. And if people are voting on it like fans, then they're just voting for the person that they like the most. And it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, the big thing was, for me, a couple of things were, Tag Team of the Year was Undisputed Era, and during their segment, it was announced that the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is coming back in a couple weeks, and Adam Cole said that him and Roderick Strong will be representing Undisputed Era as the tag team. So Kyle O'Reilly, he's still going to be by himself, and Bobby Fish is, I guess, going to be hanging out for moral support at that point.
He's hurt again.
You think so? I mean, God, he's been so.
There was a report after War Games. Yeah, every time
a big match.
Yeah, every War Games, I think too.
Yeah,
he's got the injury bug.
The other thing too was Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly from Takeover 31. Their match won Match of the Year, and that led to the promo later tonight, which we'll get into in a second. Let's try to think anything else major. Let me look real quick. Austin Theory won Future Star of the for NXT, so hopefully 2021 it's gonna be a big year for him since he's been aligning himself with Johnny Gargano. So all right, let's go run through the show real quick. The show opened up with Bronson Reed take on Isaiah Swerve Scott. Bronson Reed, he's been back now. He had the squash match last week, and he defeats Isaiah Swerve Scott pretty handily here. They did some good back and forth, but Richard, I'm really happy that he's winning right now because I think Bronson Reed, since he lost the North American Championship, that ladder match, I went to takeovers. I think since he's been back now, I think he's going to be the next one to kind of really start making a push for that North American Championship title.
I could see that. I could also see him trying to go for the world title.
Okay.
Because I had that same thought at first when I watched this, and just some of the different things he was doing in the ring and outside of the ring kind of made me think he looks like a main eventer, and Isaiah Swerve Scott looks like the guy that would be going for that North American belt.
That's that's my other thing too. Was Swerve is, he lost to Jake Atlas a couple weeks ago, got pissed and looked like he was starting to turn heel, and then he wins last week to Jake Atlas in the rematch and starts celebrating in his face, and he loses here, so he wins, loses. So I'm like, where does Swerve go in all this? Like, he's probably not going to do cruiserweight stuff.
He looked like Zorg from The Fifth Element, Gary Oldman's character, when he came out. And he just came out with that cocky disposition that was just kind of I dug it. It looked believable. I'm excited to see where both of these guys are going in 2021.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Isaiah Scott. He's such a talented guy. I think he has like that natural look, that charisma, but I feel like he's just missing one thing that really set him off. I don't know what it is. It's tough to kind of explain, but he has the potential to be, I think, like a real suave heel in a way, like a cocky heel. It just shows NXT has really like
he's got that swag.
Yeah, he does. But they have such a fat roster right now that it's really tough, I think, to pick and find your spots and shine because there's so much great talent that they have as well. So I'm I would like to see Swerve get a good push. And I need some Bronson Reed. I mean, these are two guys who I think can be the future of NXT for the next year or two. So for Bronson Reed, yeah, for both of them, I mean, I could easily see them go for North American. I could see Bronson as well be a legit contender for the main event scene in the distant future. So, no, great opening match just to get things going. Next up, one of our favorite tag teams, the Grizzled Young Veterans. Was it Liverpool's number one?
Yeah, Liverpool's number one tag team.
Taking on Breezango. I don't know about you guys. Did you see Breezango when they came out to the ring? They look like nonchalant, like they just didn't want to be there. I don't know. Did I misread that body language? Like they were just kind of walking out, like, all right, here we go, another match. Like, did they just find?
Just gonna, take the job? And...
Yeah, did they just find out like 5 minutes beforehand that they're gonna lose here? It's like I don't know. I just kind of interpreted this.
They were kind of wearing it on their faces that they were losing.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't know. Like I just kind of like I saw them, like okay, it's kind of obvious.
You can tell their body language.
Yeah, who's winning here? But no, great match here, right, Richard? As far as Grizzled Young Veterans, dude, like I'm so happy to see them in NXT Prime right now. Hopefully this is a long-term thing for them. And,
I'd like to see Breezango split and for them to be solo acts because I think we saw some of where Fandango can kind of handle things one-on-one on this match. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Breeze is already a proven solo wrestler. So yeah. I think it's time to split them up into give Tyler Breeze his old gimmick back where he was the pretty boy. And he's a phenomenal talent. It's just, Breezango does nothing for anybody, I think.
I always thought when they were a thing, when they really were big, like on SmackDown or even when, coming back on NXT, I really thought like treat this like the Rockers as far as Tyler Breeze turning on Fandango. I hate to compare it to like Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, but Tyler Breeze could be the Shawn Michaels of this, and super kicks or however he wants to beat up his tag team partner, and they split up. And I think Tyler Breeze can I'm not saying be like Shawn Michaels per se, but like start a singles run for himself. That's what I always kind of was hoping for. But now at this point, I don't know if it's a little too late for the momentum that he got, especially when he came back to NXT. But at this point, I would like to see something different from them because, they won the tag titles earlier this year. Great for them. Great little swan song as far as the return to NXT. But after that, it's like, okay, where do you go here? Because they're just veterans at this point who are helping over other talent like Grizzled Young Veterans. And so with that being said, though, I think these two teams are probably going to be in the Dusty Rhodes Classic if I had to guess. I know they haven't released the brackets yet, but with that being said, do you have any early predictions who might win it this year? I'm anticipating Grizzled Young Veterans just because they were in the finals last year and lost, had a strong showing. I think this might be a good time for them to win it again, go back to the finals back-to-back years.
Do we have all the teams in it yet?
Not yet, but it's interesting, though. The last couple years, it's been the odd couples put together who've won. So last year, we saw Riddle and Pete Dunne win. The year before, it was Ricochet and Aleister Black. So the traditional tag teams don't actually do well in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. So I'm hoping maybe a traditional tag team can actually win it this year. So that's why I'm hoping Grizzled Young Veterans can do it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Next up, we saw Mercedes Martinez make her in-ring debut, return to NXT, and pretty much a squash match against Valentina Feroz. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was really
good squash match.
Yeah, she looked just strong as ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she cut a promo afterwards and just put the whole women's division on blast. She's back, look out, and I think called out Io Shirai. So
yeah.
I mean, the women's division right now, it's kind of exciting because Io is in the balance waiting for someone next. She had a great night as far as winning awards go.
She's got a list of people after her.
I mean, Mercedes Martinez, and then you got to look at Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. They got their match next week, and I would imagine the winner there can have legit reasoning to, I deserve a title shot.
Tony Storm, Candace.
Amber Moon, Dakota Kai. I mean, dude, there's a lot. I mean, the women's division is so stacked there. It's there's a lot of options.
Shotzi?
Shotzi. That's the thing too. So there's a lot of options here. I'm anticipating some of them have to get moved over to Raw or SmackDown soon. I'm curious if
it will be telling who they put in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right before WrestleMania. And that's going to be the Royal Rumble is going to be, because I think a couple of the women probably need to leave and go to Raw or SmackDown, help out those respective divisions. And the NXT, that way you kind of let some other people get time to shine against maybe Io Shirai or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Io is due for a Raw or SmackDown call-up. Even Rhea Ripley. I mean, those are the two names I think of right away because they've been dominating most of 2020, Io specifically. So it should be really interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, the month of January is going to be very telling for their women's division. Yeah. Next up, Pete Dunne taking on Roderick Strong. I love the continuity that they reference because remember when Roderick joined Undisputed Era, he turned on Pete Dunne. And so referencing that from a few years ago. But great, man. I mean, come on. Like these two guys.
Top notch.
Yeah, veterans. They're going to go out there and deliver a banger.
They got chemistry.
Yeah, so it was very good there. Next up, so Finn Balor, they win the match of the year with Kyle O'Reilly, and he grabs the award from William Regal, goes out to the ring, and calls out Kyle O'Reilly. And he says, you know what? I don't need some award.
Yeah, this was all just hype for next week and rehashing what they had done to each other in the last match, and then we got my boy.
Yeah, so they talk it out, and Finn Balor's like, I have the championship. That's my my prize. I don't need the award.
It's not. He's just keeping it warm for Karrion Kross.
Well, so they're in the ring talking. We see Scarlett come out and says, you guys have something that belongs to us, and you guys do your thing next week, but it's just pretty much on borrowed time.
Yeah, she pretty much said like, whatever you got going or whatever, the title, whatever, is irrelevant until Karrion Kross gets it or
and then
whatever.
He comes out, with his leather jacket and just like snarling, looking at them, and just said, what did he say? Doomsday's coming, TikTok. So I was like, okay, I was kind of hoping maybe he'd say a little bit more, but I guess Scarlett, that's her job to kind of do more of the talking.
No, he's that's the one thing that they haven't done with NXT and him yet. He is a tremendous promo.
And that's what I want to see more of. I
think they're holding back. They're not pulling the trigger fully with that yet.
I wonder. Okay, well then we see Damian Priest standing right behind him. He turns around and they start brawling it out all over the NXT at the
Capitol Wrestling Center.
Thank you. And then go over the boards there, and then they go through a table. And then Scarlett's just sitting there laughing, staring at them. And Richard, you post that photo on Instagram.
Yeah,
and I love
it. It looked like a Renaissance painting.
Yeah, the symbolism there.
He's reaching up. They're both laying like they're dying, and she's like having a great time.
So that was interesting, like the symbolism there as far as, okay, is Scarlett laughing because she knows, like I don't know how to say it, but like she thrives, or I want to say gets off, but like she thrives on seeing Karrion lay out destruction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, so I need to be a badass like Karrion Kross to get a girl like that. That's what it sounds like I need to do. But it got so that whole segment it got both those matches amped up for next week's show for New Year's Evil, which I'm actually looking forward to. So yeah, it's not a takeover per se, but it's a really stacked episode of NXT next week. I'm looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to it. Until I saw how many matches were added. I'm like, I'm not going to get what I want out of this.
Yeah, so 5 matches. So not to jump ahead, but yeah, at the very end of the show, we see Dexter Lumis standing there, and he reveals like all his drawings, his artwork. Yeah, it's going to be 5 matches. So it's going to be the championship match with Finn and Kyle O'Reilly. It's going to be Priest taking on Karrion Kross. The fight pit with Thatcher and Ciampa.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Raquel versus Rhea Ripley. And then last minute added Grand Metalik taking on
Santos Escobar.
So it's 5 matches. So with commercials and stuff, yeah, Richard, some of these are probably not going to be more than 10, 15 minutes. So I'm with you. These matches are takeover quality, but it's going to be short.
Because you've got a cage match that should last at least 15 minutes. You've got a main event title match that the last one went 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. You've got a last woman standing match, but granted, Raquel's a little greener. So, 10 minutes maybe at max, but still, is that long enough for a last woman or man standing match?
Because last man standing match, or last person standing match, whatever you want to call it, those are effective the longer they go because you really believe, okay, they're getting tired. They've been in here for a long time. they really are setting the tone.
They should start the show off hot with the cruiserweight title match.
See, I was thinking they should start with the fight pit match. That way, have it the ring already set up.
No,
and then when they're done, they could take it off during a commercial break.
That should be the semi-main event, because at 8:55 they should show them constructing the cage.
Okay.
And then at 9:00 the cage should start. That way you're continuing to watch within the next hour because of the buy rates.
Okay, so you're saying like the first 3 matches be the first hour, and then the last 2 the second hour.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way to try to get your bang for your buck as far as
you should tease it going in, or do the cage match first. On the show.
Yeah. That way it's already built and set up. You just run a quick video package, get it going.
It's not even that. It's just a matter of when you're tuning in and you're trying to decide which show you're going to watch. Mm-hmm. You see the cage.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, though. It should be a fun show, and I'm sure they're going to have a run over time past the 10 p.m. Time slot. And then so next up, we saw Legado del Fantasma cutting a promo in the ring saying they're the kings of Lucha Libre. And then Lucha House Party comes out. So Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado, who we just saw on Raw 2 days ago, they come out and say, hey, you guys don't know Lucha Libre or don't represent us, and led to a tag match between them and Legado del Fantasma with Escobar ringside. Mm-hmm. Great match here, high flying stuff, all good stuff here. Mm. I really want to know, will Lucha House Party stay on NXT? They said here from Monday Night Raw, so they acknowledge them as Raw wrestlers or superstars. I kind of want them to stay on NXT and just at least beef out the tag team division.
Yeah. I'm with you there. They've been highlit a little bit better the last 6 months, I'd say, on Raw.
Oh, and SmackDown as well. Remember, Cesaro, Mentally had some good matches. Yeah,
main roster. Yeah. So they've always kept my interest a little bit.
Yeah. So I who knows? Maybe they could be part of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. That's part. This is just a quick little introduction for them, and then next week they'll be announced.
They get more of a time slot on NXT.
Yeah, as well. I think it'd be great for them. Next up was the main event. So NXT North America. Actually, before we get into the main event, before I forget, we haven't talked about this too much last couple of weeks. So we've seen these video packages of oh my god, Xia Li and Boa in these looks like workout video /
Cobra Kai
torture.
It's a training
montages, and we come to see like they're getting the crap kicked out of each other, and then you come to see the wider video shot, and it's the other person beating up the other one. They're like being they're going through like waterboarding. It looks like a water exercise.
It's like something out of Kill Bill.
Yeah, like they're getting their ass handed to them, their workout regimes, and like they're being reprogrammed as like killer soldiers.
Yeah.
You see like this figure with like makeup and a head cover, along with the older gentleman who's there watching them. So it's like this higher power that they're answering to, who's like their master. And it said after this week's video that they're gonna make their debut again next week. And that's the thing. It said next week, but next week is New Year's Evil. So where are you gonna fit them in on the show?
I don't know. That's why I'm not as excited as I should be for the show.
I know. So what do you think? I mean, I would think once they come back,
I've got no clue. I have no clue on this.
They should be just booked as like, I would imagine, like squash matches for the time being. As these killer soldiers, whatever you want to call it. So I hope we get more, backstory of who this person is, and we see them, some explanation. So don't leave us in the dark. Like just show these video packages, and that's all we're ever going to see from those two figures working with them. All right, so main event time. We saw for the North American Championship, Johnny Gargano take on Leon Ruff.
We've seen this match 3 times now.
I know. Yeah. I was like, again.
And it was the main event.
Mm-hmm. And so, and throughout the night, Johnny Gargano was really focused on trying to break the curse, and that was the big thing. So when he came in, they saw the black cat early in the day in the show down the hall.
Broke a mirror and the ladders, and
ultimately Johnny wins, so he breaks the curse now. So very much like Sasha Banks not too long ago, breaks the curse of winning a title defense. My thing is, like, I just feel bad for Leon Ruff. So ultimately, the last couple months, he was just used as a tool to help Johnny Gargano get over as
You
far
shouldn't
as
feel bad for him. He was in the main event.
True, yeah, but like, where's he go from here now? He's
Where was he 6 weeks ago?
nowhere on TV.
Exactly. So don't feel bad for the guy.
He's got a good payday. He got some,
like that's don't get in that train of thought. That train of thought won't get you anywhere.
so
Everyone loses.
So I think ultimately we've come to realize in the last like 2 months, since like Halloween Havoc or wherever it was, this whole storyline was just really for Johnny to win the title, lose it, win it back, and prove to everyone that he can break the curse. So this was a 2-month storyline to prove that he's a legit North American champion. So, all right, cool. Good way to chew up TV for the last 2 months. Great now. So we'll see where it goes
Some
now.
good stuff out of it.
Yeah. Decent episodes of NXT, but next week's episode of New Year's Evil should be really good. I'm looking forward to that a lot.